I've decided to talk to you today about Debt Snowball specifically. There's the Debt Snowball versus the Debt Avalanche. The Debt Snowball focuses on your smallest debt all the way to your highest debt and paying it off in that way, and I will explain more to you about that in a second. Where the Debt Avalanche focuses on your highest interest rate to your lowest interest rate, and you pay the debt that has the highest interest rate first all the way down to the lowest. Why do people do it differently? So obviously people would want to get rid of the highest interest rate first with the Debt Avalanche. The downside with the Debt Avalanche, when you start paying off the high interest rate, it takes longer to see you actually seeing a difference when you're paying off your debt. And there's nothing wrong with that method at all. But if you're still struggling with kind of like money management and wanting to see like that difference and that change, the Debt Avalanche can discourage you from doing that. In terms of the Debt Snowball, when you see your smallest debt all the way to your highest debt, and you kind of see like the rhythm of your debt getting paid off, and it feels quicker, it just gives you the momentum and kind of like the encouragement and the motivation to keep going. Will the Debt Avalanche versus the Debt Snowball, which one will pay off quicker? Honestly, it depends on what's the interest rates on your debt, but most of the time it is the Debt Avalanche. Is that you just won't see the difference quick enough. So that's kind of like the downside. If you're asking me for a preference, I'm going to say, since I'm now that I'm kind of doing much better with paying off my debt, depending on the interest rate, I may do a Debt Avalanche in the sense of that. However, when I first started, my money management wasn't well at all, and I needed the motivation. I needed like, okay, I need to see me getting rid of this debt. So I decided that, okay, I'm doing the Debt Snowball, and that was the best decision I have ever made. So for people who are in the fundamentals of personal finance and financial literacy, I highly recommend the Debt Snowball. So you can feel that you are doing well, that you are making a difference, that you can see the difference. And, you know, it's all about emotions, and we want to visually see it. So I do highly recommend the Debt Snowball. And that's what I'm going to show you today, specifically on the sheet that I created. So I have two of them here. One of them I'm going to use for listing all of our debts. And then the second one is going to be to break it down. So I'm going to show you both so that you understand. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comments below. It's a judgment-free zone. You know, I'm not against any method, so don't think that at all. So if you already have your starter emergency fund, because that was like the biggest step, then the next is, okay, let's attack this debt. Let's attack this debt. So you're going to list your debts from smallest to largest by the total of the payoff balance. Okay. So I am going to put some here. I don't have much debt left to put here, so it's not going to be the best example to use. So I'm just gonna put some examples for you. All right, so let's say debt number one is a credit card, and your payoff balance is $200, and your minimum payment for that is $25. Okay. Then let's put number one here. Credit card number two is $500. That minimum payment is $50. Okay. Let's say you have a car loan and you owe $5,000 on it. Let's put some dollar signs. And your minimum payment for your car loan is $250. Then let's say you have a student loan. And your student loan is $10,000. So the only thing that's not going to go on this debt snowball is your house. We exclude the house. Okay, so let's just say you have 4 debts, and let's make it nice and simple. On this sheet, what I like to do is I like to break it down. Credit card number 1. And your minimum payment is $25. Okay, now this new payment here is if it's anything extra that you can put towards this minimum payment, right? To get this down lower. So let's say you found an extra $25 that you were able to put towards this payment. So your new payment would be $50, okay, for here. And I have a sheet that will break this down for you. Along with this, if you're interested in printouts, they're free and they're downloadable on my website, and I will put that down below for you. So now, what I should have added was like the date. So let's say we started this was January. Okay, and this is still credit card number 1, but now we're gonna break it down more. So you paid $50 to this amount, and it'll bring it down to $150. Okay? But your new minimum payment to pay towards this is now going to be $50 because this is an extra $25 you have now. So it's going to be $50. Okay? And then we'll keep it at $50 because that's going to be your payment. But now, for February, the amount's going to go down to $100. I hope this is not confusing. So what I'm just showing here is that every month you're paying $50 towards your credit card, and the balance is decreasing. Okay? Obviously, if you can sell things or anything in the house that you can pay towards this credit card to take out, that would be great. Okay? So now your total payoff balance is $50, and you're going to pay that off. And now you're done with this credit card. Let's put here, paid off. Okay, paid off. So now that this is paid off, this $50 here is going to go to your next credit card. Credit card number 2. So by May, you're going to start credit card number 2, which means you still have been making the minimum payment January, February, March, and April, which was $200. Okay. So now this doesn't include the interest. So remember that you still have to pay whatever interest is on your credit card. I didn't put it because, I didn't know, but it will be the $50 plus whatever interest is left over if you can pay that off. And then hopefully by May, you'll be able to start credit card number 2. But remember, you've been paying the minimum payment on credit card number 2. You've been paying $50. So you paid $50 in January, February, March, and April. Right? So that adds up to paying off $200. So by May, this card will be at $300. Okay? And now you have this $50 available from credit card number 1, and the minimum payment you've been paying on credit card number 2. So if you add this up here, your new payment is $100, if that makes sense. You're taking what's left this available $50 now you have free because you no longer have this card. It's paid off. It's done. And you're adding it to the payment that you've been paying on credit card number 2. So now you're going to be paying $100 to credit card number 2, and that's where the debt snowball comes in. Now look at this. 3 months, right? You paid off the 100. Now this is paid off. So look at that. So look at that. July, you paid off your second credit card. Now it's paid off completely. So now you bring this $100 to the minimum payment of your $250 car loan. So, but this was $5,000 when we first started this. So $250, $500, $750, $1,000, $1,250, $1,500, $1,750. That's how much you paid off on the car loan from January to July. Okay, so it was going to be 5,000 minus 1,750. Here will be $3,250 is what you owe left by August. Okay, and the minimum payment you were doing is $250. Now we're going to add the minimum payment from your last credit card and add it to the $250. I apologize, I should say $250. And then the new payment will be $350. Now that you have your new payment of $350, right? That's what you're going to start. That's going to be your new minimum payment. And then, of course, if you have any additional money, you can throw it to your debt. So I'll go through this real quick, the same way as the other ones. Okay, and then you'll just continue going until you reach your next step. Okay, and then if you need another paper, you just grab another one. Here's another thing that I love to do to keep me on track as well. I have a goal thermometer. Like, I feel like this is really important. This is something that needs to be a part of your debt tracking and put on a wall so that you can see it. So for example, so let's say you can use this page for anything. You can use it for tracking the debt you're paid. You can use it for a sinking fund. If you're not sure what a sinking fund is a savings, and I have a video on that there that I can put up for you. But let's say your goal is, let's look at one of your debts. Let's do the $5,000 one because I feel like that's a big one and kind of something like it takes you a little longer, and would like to keep track of it. And then you can separate this however you want. You know, obviously the top goal is 5,000 here. Okay, you can probably separate this by the payments that you would have, which is the $350, and you can do that like this as an example, and then it'll be $700. So you're gonna go up amount, but this is still a $350 payment, $350, and then you can keep going up, etc. Or another way is, you know what, instead you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna separate it by thousands. You can do that here. You can do it however you like, whatever you feel is going to be best for you and maybe hold you accountable. And then, you know, and then what you do is each time you're going to fill it in. Okay. So check out any of these printables on my website. I'll put it below. There's everything. Check it out. Look in my description. If you have any questions, please let me know. Subscribe to my channel.